Hi, welcome to the quiz. You can answer along on quizalto.com, all for free. The exact URL of this quiz will be in the notes down below. Let's get started, good luck. How does AWS IoT Analytics handle data storage? Through scalable managed data stores. Using fixed-size storage volumes. By storing data locally on devices. By requiring external storage solutions. AWS IoT Analytics handles data storage through scalable managed data stores. What is a common use case for AWS IoT Analytics? Network configuration. Database management. Predictive maintenance. Hosting web applications. Predictive maintenance is a common use case for AWS IoT Analytics, leveraging processed IoT data. What type of data can AWS IoT Analytics process? Only text data. Only structured data. Structured and unstructured IoT data. Only unstructured data. AWS IoT Analytics is capable of processing both structured and unstructured IoT data. What is a benefit of using managed data stores in AWS IoT Analytics? Scalability and ease of management. Local storage only. Manual data entry. Dedicated hardware requirement. Managed data stores offer scalability and ease of management for storing processed data. How does AWS IoT Analytics ensure data security? By using dedicated hardware. By preventing data storage. By restricting internet access. Through encryption and IAM policies. AWS IoT Analytics ensures data security through encryption and IAM policies. In AWS IoT Analytics, what is the purpose of the SQL query engine? To run SQL queries against processed data. To deploy IoT applications. To manage data encryption. To create machine learning models. The SQL query engine in AWS IoT Analytics is used to run SQL queries against processed data. What is the purpose of a data store in AWS IoT Analytics? To store processed data for analysis. To configure network settings. To deploy applications. To manage user permissions. A data store in AWS IoT Analytics is used to store processed data for further analysis. In AWS IoT Analytics, what is a dataset? A security policy. A storage volume. A virtual server. A set of data used for querying and analysis. A dataset in AWS IoT Analytics is used for querying and analyzing data. Which programming languages are supported for AWS IoT Analytics custom functions? Ruby and PHP. C++ and Go. Swift and Kotlin. Python and JavaScript. Python and JavaScript are supported for writing custom functions in AWS IoT Analytics. What is a key feature of AWS IoT Analytics data processing? Dedicated hardware requirement. On-premises data storage. Manual data entry requirements. Pre-built data processing activities. AWS IoT Analytics includes pre-built data processing activities to automate data cleaning and preparation. What is the benefit of using AWS IoT Analytics for IoT data processing? Scalability and flexibility. Dedicated hardware requirements. Fixed data formats. On-premises storage. AWS IoT Analytics offers scalability and flexibility in processing IoT data. Which feature allows you to summarize data in AWS IoT Analytics? Data aggregation. Database indexing. Network configuration. Machine learning models. Data aggregation in AWS IoT Analytics allows for summarizing large sets of data. What is the first step in processing data in AWS IoT Analytics? Deploying models. Running SQL queries. Ingesting data through channels. Creating visualizations. Ingesting data through channels is the first step in processing data in AWS IoT Analytics. What is the role of AWS IoT Analytics in IoT data lifecycle management? Deploying IoT devices. Creating network configurations. Managing IoT device firmware. Processing and analyzing data. AWS IoT Analytics plays a crucial role in processing and analyzing IoT data. How can AWS IoT Analytics integrate with other AWS services? Through AWS IoT Core. Using external APIs. By manual data transfer. By dedicated network setup. AWS IoT Analytics integrates with other AWS services like AWS IoT Core to enhance functionality. What is the benefit of automated data processing in AWS IoT Analytics? Reduces manual effort and error. Decreases data security. Increases data entry tasks. Requires dedicated hardware. Automated data processing reduces manual effort and potential errors in handling IoT data. How can AWS IoT Analytics be customized for specific use cases? By using fixed templates only. By limiting data formats. By defining custom pipelines and activities. By restricting user access. AWS IoT Analytics can be customized through defining custom pipelines and activities. What is the function of a pipeline in AWS IoT Analytics? To deploy applications. To process messages through a series of activities. To create virtual machines. To manage databases. A pipeline processes messages through a series of activities to clean, filter, and enrich IoT data. Which AWS service can be used to create complex queries in AWS IoT Analytics? AWS Glue. Amazon Rekognition. AWS S3. Amazon RDS. AWS Glue can be used to create complex ETL queries in AWS IoT Analytics. How can AWS IoT Analytics data be accessed for analysis? Using SQL queries. Through API only. By downloading as CSV. By manual data entry. Data in AWS IoT Analytics can be accessed for analysis using SQL queries. Which AWS service is integrated with AWS IoT Analytics for data visualization? Amazon QuickSight. Amazon Redshift. AWS Lambda. AWS CloudFormation. Amazon QuickSight is used for visualizing the data processed by AWS IoT Analytics. Which feature in AWS IoT Analytics allows for scheduled data processing? Security groups. Data pipelines. User policies. Local scripts. Data pipelines in AWS IoT Analytics can be scheduled to run at specific times for data processing. How does AWS IoT Analytics ensure data integrity during processing? By validating and filtering data. By storing data locally. By using dedicated hardware. By reducing data encryption. Data integrity is ensured by validating and filtering data during processing. Can AWS IoT Analytics handle real-time data? Yes, it processes data in real time. No, it processes batch data only. No, it processes historical data only. Yes, but only for text data. AWS IoT Analytics processes historical data, not real-time data. Which type of analysis is AWS IoT Analytics especially suited for? Image recognition. Time series analysis. Video streaming. Text translation. AWS IoT Analytics is especially suited for time series analysis of IoT data. And that's a wrap. Thanks to everyone who participated. Remember, you can answer along on quizalto.com, where you can keep track of your progress and find much more quizzes. We hope you had a fun and challenging time. Until next time. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up. Subscribe to the channel for more. Hit the bell icon to be notified as soon as we upload. Please leave a comment if you have any thoughts or suggestions, and, if you think this video is worth sharing with someone who could benefit from it, please forward a link to them. See you next time. Thanks for watching.